Today we're talking about the side swivel pulley. And one of the cool things about the side swivel pulley is it's designed just like the aux block, has a 2,500 pound working load. You can purchase it with a swivel eye or with like a clevis top right here. Same cool way to open up the door. Push that button right there and you can release the faceplate. Now, one thing you probably notice it's different is this square faceplate. The cool thing about the square faceplate is we can use it with a Prusik. And we're going to talk about Prusiks in just a second. So if it has a square faceplate, that's called a Prusik-minded pulley. So we designed this specifically to be used with Prusiks. You can use it without Prusiks, but you can definitely use it with Prusiks. So here's a Prusik. We got a few different styles right here. This is called an endless loop. The ends are stitched together right here. And this is a Prusik with a friction eye. And you can see the friction eye at the top. Now that friction eye, what I would do with this is I would attach it to my anchorage point. Okay, so if I was using the aux block with a side swivel pulley, making a parted system, after I installed my Prusik on the rope, I would attach my anchor point right here. Okay. And with an endless loop, I want to make sure that the stitched end is the portion that goes to the anchor. All right. So let's talk about Prusiks for a second. I got a few different styles. I have, obviously I have the friction ring and I have the endless loop. I also have a smaller size here. These ones are 9mm. This is an 8mm size difference. So why the different sizes? Well, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have the right size Prusik that's matched to your rope size. So this is a 1/2 inch rope, also we called 13mm, 12mm, it's right in between, closer to a 13 mil. So I'm going to use my 8mm rope. And why am I going to use my 8mm? Because rule of thumb, when you're sizing Prusiks to the rope, says that your Prusik needs to be 50 to 75% of the size of the rope that you're working with. Okay, so I have this 13 mil rope and I have an 8 mil Prusik. So let's go ahead and install this Prusik. Really easy to do. There's several different ways to tie it. The way I'm going to tie it today is very simple. I think it's the simplest. It's called a 3-wrap Prusik. So I wrap the Prusik around the rope. Now I'll take the loop that's not stitched and I'll take the stitched end and pass it through 3 times. Wrap it back around the rope. So that's 1. There's 2. 1 more wrap to make 3. Again, I'm back through the loop of that rope with the stitched end. And as I come back through, I want to make sure that my loops don't jump over the top of each other. You call them buttons or loops, kind of like an aluminum tie. You want to make sure that your buttons don't jump over each other. Okay, now that's called dressing it to make sure it's all set just right. Kind of pull it tight on there. So now, look at that, it holds on the rope. I can pull up, I can pull down. Now what I've done here is I've attached it to this line that has a load on it. So I want to slide this down. Now I'm going to attach it to my anchor point. See this stitched end is going to my anchor point? Okay, looks good, still dressed out nice. Okay, here's where the Prusik-minded feature of the faceplate works with the Prusik. As I pull up on this load, you'll see that the faceplate doesn't allow the Prusik to go up into the block, get sucked into the block. So when I release, the Prusik grabs the rope, holds onto my load. So as I lift the load and I let go, it holds the load for me. So that's called progress capture. Is I make progress with my load, bringing it in a direction, and then release it, it captures the progress that I've made. Now to release that, very simply, is I just can take a little tension off the load, slide up underneath the Prusik, and lower my load down. That releases the Prusik. But as soon as I don't want the load to be released anymore, I let go of it and it sets itself. Okay, so let's see where other applications we could use this in. Obviously this is a very simple system. Let's go over here and take a look at this. Right here I have a set of 4s. I'm going to hang a transformer. Could be in a backyard, wherever. I have a set of 4s. I have my Prusik attached right here with the super cool side swivel pulley with that faceplate, right? That Prusik-minded faceplate. So again, as I lift up this transformer, this is about a 300-pound transformer. As I lift this up, my Prusik is sliding down because the side swivel pulley is keeping it down there, right, on my load line. and as I release, my Prusik grabs. So this is really good. It's ergonomic, right? I mean, if I go ahead and have one guy down at the bottom of the pole, you don't have to support that load with one hand every time. You can just grab this load, bend your knees, come back, release the load, come back up and grab another purchase right there. Okay, so let's say the transformer's up in the air. It's up to the lineman. He wants to hang it on the bolts. All you have to do is just pick the load up a little bit. The lineman can reach underneath that Prusik and lower it down and hang it right on the bolts. So this is just one application you can use it in. There's several more. So it's a great system, great design on the side swivel pulley.